My name is Gabrielle Lacroix, and I'm going to be talking about the Musée d'Orsay and the exhibition that I would have created from the works that are in this museum and what I would bring to the UNEF gallery. So about the Musée d'Orsay, it was originally supposed to be, or technically originally, a train station and a hotel. This was used to kind of bring more tourists and visitors from across the country and kind of bring more traffic to the city. It turned out that it didn't last too long. It started to become outdated and unused after a while. And so the, I guess, way to kind of preserve the space and use the space was to turn it into an art museum. So it was open to the public in 1986, and there were some uh, controversies in regards to renovations during the 80s. So the designer, Alenti, I hope I'm saying that right, was the designer for the museum at the time. She was picked to design the architectural features of it. And she wasn't really known to be a great architect and was kind of like shamed upon, or like nobody really like had interest in her. So it was like, why are we picking this person that is not famous to design something that's supposed to hold really, really famous works? She also kind of categorized her style as in the modernist vein, and a lot of critics didn't like this because the way that the Musée d'Orsay looked was very postmodern, and to a lot of European architects, that wasn't something that you wanted your art or your buildings to look like. It was very looked down upon, and it wasn't something that was going to be like the big hit type thing. Another thing that was a little bit controversy during the renovations was that they were wanting to show other works that weren't as famous or were kind of questionable and was not really accepted academically into salons along the side of these very famous impressionist works. And a lot of people did not like that. They did not agree. But here we are today. So, as for my curated exhibition, I was looking more towards this emotion or atmosphere that kind of had the essence of nostalgia or leisure, and bringing that color into effect as well to kind of bring that aura or vibe of what one is feeling while looking at the works. So I'll kind of explain as I get to each piece what I was actually thinking while placing this into an exhibition. So the first one is by, I hope I'm saying this right, Ripley Ronai. It is A Park at Night. And I picked this work. One, I was immediately drawn to it because of the color and the kind of like X-ray look that it had, but it was just very kind of ominous, and it has this essence of, I'm walking through the park at night to get home, but I still feel okay, but it's still a little wary of what's about to happen to me. So I've had instances where I have felt this way, and it kind of brings a nostalgia back of just walking calmly through the park or through the forest, or just that calm essence and atmosphere. Also the colors just very vibrant and kind of in your face. Almost it comes out at you because of this very dark background, and that lamppost really kind of comes into view and is one of the more interesting aspects of the painting, or excuse me, not painting, of the drawing, because it is in pastel, and it draws your attention to that little bit of yellow around all this black and all this blue. The next piece that I felt belonged into this exhibition is from Brandon, and this is a Parisian building. It has like a nostalgic feeling, almost like the quality of like a really old photo, in my opinion. It has that element of this was once a place that a lot of people went to. It has that, you know, I don't know how to explain so well, but it has that nostalgic feeling of like I've been here before. I can feel the energy of the city, of the people that are going here. I can smell whatever foods are being made through bakeries and such in the air in the area. Like it has that very kind of like almost homey essence because of the coloring and how things are portrayed, um, in the way that it's like is like the atmospheric. So when you're talking about the intensive color, you can see in the left hand corner it kind of has more intensity, and as it kind of draws out into the top right, it kind of disappears a little bit, almost like a memory. Again, we have another piece by Brandon, and this, I feel like, is the same building as the previous painting. It again gives that nostalgic feeling, gives that memory of uh, things that have happened, of places that have been that you've been, and it's very interesting, this composition, because he places these different little kind of snippets in the painting, and it makes it unique and does give you that view of going into somebody's kind of viewpoint and thinking about what it is that they have been doing lately. Another thing is the colors are, in particular around that reef, are just so drastic compared to the palette of everything else, and it brings that forward. Even the pieces that are kind of by themselves, it kind of looks like he just cut those out and pasted them. Those also have a differentiation of color between the background, drawing that forward as well. Oh, and if I can go back, this also like kind of gives like that postcard, old school postcard or old school photo um, look as well, which also kind of reminded me of that, you know, old timey nostalgia back then kind of look. So we have a cassette here, and this is Mother and Child on green background. I also picked this because it, again, gives that nostalgic feeling of old photos, of how you would have looked when you were younger and your mother holding you. It has that very homey feeling. The colors are, you know, complementary as well, and it brings out certain aspects of the figures from the background. It's very kind of calm, and it's just, I don't know, I really enjoy this piece. It's very soothing almost. And then we have Van Gogh, so the Starry Night we have here. This as well gives that also feeling as kind of like the first painting, a park at night. It gives that essence of I've kind of walked through this before. I remember that feeling, and by seeing this painting, I can remember that feeling very, very well. I remember the things that I saw, the things that I smelled in the air, what I was thinking about that day. And even the figures in the foreground kind of give that depiction of these two people going about their day and just having a great time, going through the motions, but still feeling that aura around them. Also, the colors in this are just very vibrant, and with the yellows and the blues and the greens, it's very cool. So I can feel like it's like a cool night, by the river. Monet's La Pie? Pie? I don't know. But this, when I saw this, I was like, Emily, when you were little in New York and playing in the snow, so automatically my mind went to nostalgia as well, and just that vibrant snow. It's so white and hasn't been touched, and I just want to jump into it, and it just it makes me happy, and seeing that like kind of brings that childhood, childlike feeling back into the piece as well. Even though it's probably not meant for that, it's meant for like the beauty of the landscape and whatnot. But it does kind of give off, at least for me, the nostalgic feeling of my childhood. We have another Monet here, the La Grande Saint Larze. I'm butchering these names, and I'm so sorry. But this piece also, again, the feeling of, you know, people kind of going about their day, the city bustling, that feeling of, relax but comfort and nostalgia. Again, I'm going to keep saying nostalgia because very much so, of having so much energy going on. You can feel what's happening in this piece sensory wise, and the colors as well, also bringing into um, forward like the time of day that it probably was. So this could have been like a little bit afternoon, not quite evening, is what the coloring kind of makes me think of. So Renoir, this painting is young girls at the piano. I grew up playing music, hear my mother play music, and seeing these two young girls who could be friends or sisters playing on the piano gave me a lot of, again, nostalgia, childhood memories of me and my own sister, and just thinking about those times that you have nothing else to do, but there's a piano, and let's go play the piano together. Let's have some fun. Let's just, you know, spend time with one another doing something. And these colors that are bringing forward are very vibrant and playful, and kind of make me feel like maybe they're in either someone's room or like in the living room area. And it just brings a lot of youthfulness to the piece and to the viewer. We have another Renoir here. And this again has a lot of leisure and that atmosphere of, everyone having a great time, that memory possibly of what could have been before, and reminiscing on that as well, kind of looking from someone else's perspective and seeing what could have been. And then the colors are just, oh, I love the colors in this one. You can tell everyone is very different and distinct. And even as it goes further back, you can still tell that those are people because of how, the colors are placed by one another. It's just, I love this piece. And then I believe this is the last piece, but Morsat the Cradle. Again, this kind of is in same realm as Cassette's the mother and child painting, but it again brings that back, that essence of like an old photo of some sort that I probably would have seen of myself and my mother, looking fondly at me or tiredly at me. as I'm sleeping as a child and bringing back those memories that I probably would have never remembered, but my mother would have remembered. So yeah, I think that's it. So these are more sources. Um, I really enjoyed trying to put together pieces from a collection and trying to figure out how I can, you know, connect them together. I would say I did okay, uh, but it was fun to attempt and try and see what really draws me in as a viewer of art and as an artist. Thank you.